Hi, Human Hamza here again, and this is another video part of the Waves 2U video tutorial series. In this video, I'll explain how Waves 2 CMS keeps SEO in mind when building websites. Search engine optimization today is one of the most aspects of any websites. In order for a website to be successful, people need to be able to find you, and search engine optimization is the #1 way to do this. Now there's certain things that users can do, such as pay-per-click ads on sites like Google and Yahoo, but really the best way to raise up in the ranks is organically set up your website so that in organic search it appears at the top based on keywords that are relevant to your content. Now there's a couple of different items that come into play here. There's certain elements that surround a particular page, such as some of the page's properties that are very important, and then there's also the content of the web pages themselves that are very important. Starting here, I'm going to open up my CMS menu tree, and you can see in our Manage Content section, we have a section called Meta Tags. This grid allows us to manage sets of meta tags, and by a set, we mean a whole slew of metadata that are grouped together. Once we create these, we can assign these to one or multiple pages, one or multiple templates within the system. So here, let's assume we want to add a new meta tag set. We can click on this add tool, and first thing we need to do is give this a name. So let's assume we call this our home page meta set. And we can also give it a description for the system. In this drop-down now, we're listing all of the different metadata that are available out there. I can select any of these. For example, let's say I choose description. A new item will appear here, and it'll let me type a description for this particular meta tag set. I can also select another type. Let's say I choose keywords. Now you can see that another field is available here for keywords. Finally, let's assume that we choose the author here. I can set a metadata for the author. Now once I'm satisfied with this, and you can see that we can modify these at any time, I could remove an entire set. But once I'm satisfied here, I can save this meta tag set. And once it's set up, I can actually begin to assign that to various pages and templates, and that metadata will load within the page in the header at the time that the page is loaded. Now besides different metadata, there's also elements on the page that we mentioned. So let's open up our managed websites and open up one of our websites here. I'm going to go down to the very end of the tree here, and I'm going to just click on one of my pages using style sheets. Once the page loads, it automatically goes to the editing page interface, but I also have a couple of tabs up here. Properties and SEO we want to focus on in this case. When I go over to the properties window, you can see there's certain items here that relate and are very significant with search engine optimization. First of all, let's talk about meta tags. This drop-down lists all of those meta tag sets that we saw on the grid before, and you can see there's a multiple select. So I can grab one or multiple sets of meta tags, and those will automatically be put on the page at runtime. Over here we also have a couple of other items like the page title, which appears at the very top of the page. Google, which is the leader in the field of course with search engine optimization, recommends that your page title have keywords that are very relevant to your content, and they recommend that it generally be between 50 to 60 characters long. There's also the page alias, which is really the URL of the page. Similarly, we want to have keyword-rich URL, which describes that particular page. With both aliases and page title, you want to make sure that most of your pages across the website, in the case of alias, it must be different, but you want to make sure that they're different so that Google doesn't think that you just copied certain page titles over and over again on your pages. It wants to see that each of your pages have unique page titles which describe that specific page. Same thing goes with the page description and the page header. Page header is very important. That's something that Google looks for as the main title of that page and generally has H1 tags surrounding it. Now if we hop over to the SEO tab, what we've done here in Waves 2 is we've taken some of those elements I just showed you in page properties and elsewhere and grouped them together in the SEO tab. Now this helps in case you have a situation where you have an SEO consultant going in and they need just one interface to quickly modify the SEO of pages. In fact, we're able to hide the properties or history or even the editing and allow someone only access to modifying the SEO aspects of a particular page. You can see here, again, we have the page title, the page alias, description, header, and then some page keywords. Last but not least comes the content. Again, it's very recommended that your content is very unique page to page. In fact, in some cases, Google will penalize websites that have duplicate content across multiple pages on the same website. When we're here within the editor, what we're able to do is use our tools here to make sure our content is designed well. For example, let's say this is the header of the page. One thing we can do is select here and choose heading 1. So Google will recognize that's the most important tagline on that particular page. Similarly, we can have different paragraphs of content. So let's assume that we started to type away here and we had a couple different paragraphs. What we want to make sure we do is the keywords that are used within these paragraphs are used sparsely. For example, if there's one keyword, such as cars, that's important to this page, you want to use that keyword about 2 to 3 times per paragraph. So you want to make sure you use it enough, but don't overuse it at the same time. So as you can see, Waves 2 has a couple different tools which makes sure that as you build your website, search engine optimization, being as important it is kept in mind. So this wraps up this video on some of the tools in Waves 2 which lets you optimize your website for search engine.